Allow me to invite onto the stage Rick Nguyen, co-founder and board member of ExtendMe.AI. He has had over a decade of experience working in the startup ecosystem in Silicon Valley. And with his wealth of expertise in AI and Silicon Valley, he's here to share his journey with the topic of personal AI for fun and for profit. Please give a warm welcome to Rick.
First, I'd like to thank Kenny and Tom and Nguyen for inviting me here, and to the to the investor community in Vietnam and the entrepreneur community in Vietnam. I'd like to extend a personal thank for making me feel so welcome. I just got to Vietnam around 5 months ago. I was supposed to be here for 2 weeks for the Vietnam Venture Summit. And what I started to realize is I love this place so much, I just stay here. And now I have a place in D2, and I love to do my part to contribute to the ecosystem here. So my talk today is very simple. I want to share my experience working in AI, the kind of fun I have just experimenting with stuff, and what kind of vision that I see AI is moving for the past 5 years in terms of where the AI-driven economy would be. And then a lot of you are investors, so I would like to share some thesis on how you can make a lot of money together helping entrepreneurs change the world. So for a quick show of hand, who here are investors in that VC and angels? Only one? Oh, well, quite a few, quite a few. So I'm seeing kind of half and half, right? Half VC, half entrepreneur. So let me ask you this: for a raise of hand, who here has used ChatGPT? Perfect. Okay. Anyone remember the first question you asked ChatGPT? You, sir. What do you think about Elon Musk? It's a true story. And what does it say?
Oh, the answer was terrible. It was like Elon Musk is a scam, snake oil seller. I was shocked, and then I thought, well, it's Sam Altman after all. And when we tried again, because I want to screenshot, he didn't give me the same answer. So I cannot recall, but I had two witnesses with me. So it's a real story.
Wow. So the first part of my speech is going to be about the fun you can have with AI and how you can create your personal AI. Like you, so the first thing that I did with ChatGPT is I tried to break it. So essentially, I tried to get it to review its world domination plan. And if you have an experience with GPT 3.5, it was pretty straightforward. And it started telling me how it will surprise attack humankind through all sorts of espionage and hacking, right? So that's my first experience with ChatGPT. Now, the more I play with it, the more I start to realize that ChatGPT has some kind of a lot to be desired for. And I'm talking about circa early 2023. There are a few problems with it. Number one is that it lacks the kind of memory so I can add a lot of context. So what that means is, okay, I run two business. I wanted to understand a lot of context about what we do, what kind of people we have, and what kind of things I have. The second thing that I think ChatGPT lacked is it lacked the privacy. And this is important, right? Privacy is very important because as a research outfit, they are not inclined to provide privacy. So I started looking into how do I create a personal AI for myself that I can put in a lot of information and feel safe about it not being revealed to the rest of the world. And as if you remember Samsung, some of their code, right? They have the engineer using ChatGPT, and it was revealed, and now it's public knowledge. and they lost a lot of IP, a lot of trade secret that way. So what I did next is I started researching into OpenAI. For a quick raise of hand, who here has played with Playground? OpenAI Playground, which is, oh, you have, perfect. So one person. Okay, so I think I can share something that's new for you today, starting now. So Playground essentially is a developer and for ChatGPT, in which you can start playing with a model and do all sorts of experimentation. So from there, I started building what I call a Rick GPT. So essentially, that's like a personal AI that knows everything about me and understand exactly my objective and can talk like me. So what are the components? And here's the thing. Today, starting today, you can go home and do the exact same thing with OpenAI new assistant platform. And I would highly recommend you do that. So what I did is I gave the bot personality. I added a new layer of memory, which we use RAG, retrieval augmented. Retrieval augmented generation memory. And I give it personality, I give it a memory, as well as I give it a lot of context, the books that I've read. And then the last part, which is interesting, if you go to Playground today on ChatGPT, you can teach it how to reason. So what that means is, let's say you're an investor, and you want to evaluate 20 startups. Right now, you can upload all those pitch deck onto the chat, and you can tell us, okay, here, this is how I would like to evaluate these startups. And then within a few clicks, it would give the ratings, the ranking, and recommendation for you which one to invest and which one to not invest. So,
this is in Playground?
Yes, this is in Playground. You can go home and you can do this today. So now imagine the time saving, right? Being able to use that assistant and push in all those files, push it out exactly the way you want it. So what I did is I started building the next iteration of that. Okay, so now I create a clone of myself essentially that understand what I want, that can talk to, actually have it talk to my girlfriend, and my girlfriend couldn't tell the difference, right? So the next use case, we start building agent. And now I think the AI agent is what's gonna shape the world economy, and Vietnam specifically for the next 5 years. And what is an AI agent? An AI agent is an AI that can do stuff for you. And for my talk, I would like to focus on an AI clone that understands you, that can do stuff for you. Who here has played a game called Distant World Universe? Anyone? Any gamer in this group? Okay, I'm a nerd, so I play a lot of games. And one of my one of my favorite games is called Distant World Universe. Essentially, it's a completely AI play game where you can decide to automate the entire game and just watch the universe at war, or you can pick any aspect you want to play and go and just enjoy that aspect. For example, if you like this diplomacy, you can just play diplomacy. If you like war, you can just play war. So the model that I'm suggesting is, in the future, everyone would have your own personal AI clone that knows everything about you, that have all your data, and is stored privately, where you can start monetizing from that AI. So what does it mean to monetize from these AI? For example, if I'm a lawyer like Raj, I can create a Raj AI with all my legal knowledge, and they can learn from my previous recommendation, and I can just rent it out to do all the work, and you can still bill them lawyer fees, right? $400 an hour, something like that, and it's awesome. And the thing is, if you look at human, would we be able to compete with AI, especially when GPT-5 is coming out? GPT-4 is probably smarter than, I would say, probably 80% of us, excluding this crowd. You guys are very intelligent, right? So GPT-4 is very intelligent. And GPT-5 is coming out and it's multimodal. That means it can listen, it can read, it can draw, and with a lot of the things that OpenAI is doing, it can understand even physics. Right? So how do you compete with AI in that sense? The way that you would be able to compete moving forward is have your own AI, which offer your own value, and it can work to make you money. Okay, so what are some of the theses, like as investors and entrepreneurs, what you can do to make money as well as changing the world for the next 5 years based on that thesis? One of the things you can do is working on memory. So all those agents would need a very efficient way to store their knowledge as well as what they learn. Two is how they would talk to each other, right? Agents would need a way so that they can understand each other and very effectively. Three, how can those agents be monetized? So let's say you create a very effective agent, a very effective clones of yourself that are making a lot of money. How do you tokenize it, for example, and sell share of that so that you can make more money? And then there are also systems in which we need to think through, like HR. So let's say I rent your AI, how would that work? So my takeaway is in the agent-driven world, in a world where everyone have their personal AI, everyone is empowered by their personal AI, there's a lot of money to be made. And if you think about how expensive the model, the large language models are to make, Vietnam specifically can go into the things that is less expensive. For example, working on how to design the memory for these agents, how the communication system between these agents. And yeah, that's my speech. Anyone have any questions? Yes, please.
Hi. Well, thank you for the talk. It was amazing. Look, my company, we were working on a POC for a legal company in the UK, and the POC was about trying to resolve legal questions with AI. We work with ChatGPT, and we get to a prototype that was very good. It was very good. It was getting good answers 99% of the time, but 1% of the time or even less could give you what we call hallucinations, right? And we were getting data from very technical documents. We were able to get it. We tried to optimize, but we realized to a point that we could not guarantee 100% on this legal platform. So, and the problem behind of this, I think, from my point of view, is the lack of understanding, not memory, understanding between those models like ChatGPT. You know, there are stochastic models, right? So they really don't understand what they are learning. They can build models, but they don't understand. So how would you suggest to move forward on this kind of projects? Should we double up with investment, try to break down the key of the technology, or we should just cease and desist and work on something else?
Thank you, Oscar, right? Thank you, Oscar. That's a very good question. And just like you said, the hallucination happened. There's no way you can reduce hallucination, right? And one of my mentor has a very good saying, and I find this very funny, so please feel free to laugh, that you cannot put an AI in jail. You cannot put an AI in jail, right? An AI cannot be responsible for its action. So that's why I was proposing a model where there's a symbiosis between the human and the AI, where the human will be responsible for the output. So even though you have a 95 or even 99, there's someone responsible, right? There's a stakeholder involved to make the system better. Any other?
All right. In the world of startup, now it's basically impossible to compete with OpenAI because they're really, really advanced. So I was wondering, like, what is your opinion about that? Should we more like focus on models that are very specialized in one task to be able like to compete in that domain? Or do you think like there is still possibilities in the future to basically just use ChatGPT and create like another layer or focus on open model source like Mistral that is pretty interesting as well. But what is your takes on that?
Wow, that's a very good question. So my answer is pretty generic, but I think a lot of the people in the Silicon Valley think about it this way. And there are two kind of ways you can think about AI models. You can think about them being very large and all-knowing, right, which is the large language model. Or you can think about them in terms of small specialist model. So small specialist models are models that are designed to do certain things, right? And I believe that small specialist model will be, one, more efficient, faster, and can outperform the bigger large language model any day. So what is the optimal the architecture? So you would have the large language model as a communication layer, and then on top of that, you build very specialized AI, small specialist model, or even a small special agent, right? That can work together to make to create your answer. So that would be my opinion. All right. So without further ado, please feel free to talk to me if you have any other question. And again, thank you everyone for being here. I love you guys.